Good morning, everybody. What's going on? Happy Tuesday, 6:30 a.m., November 24th, and prices of Bitcoin are once again exploding all the way past 19,000, which was that key resistance we had put in just a couple days ago on November 20th. You can see overnight we've had some very strong movement. We are once again breaching this large trend line that you see right in the middle right here. And that comes back from a couple of retests and touches from November 4th, 7th, 9th, 10th, and all the way up, right? So the fact that we're kind of hitting this on the 24th for the third time, okay, first as resistance, second as resistance, now third time as resistance. I feel fairly confident saying that this time around is probably the time. Okay. If not, sometimes what trend lines do is they might hold you back once, okay, and then sell off. Second time, if you don't get a lower low as per this low, right, that's not really a double top or that's not really, a double rejection of the trend line. So what really happens is, okay, you get the first rejection. The second rejection is with, these higher lows right here. And now boom, you're about to put in a rocket because you're going to keep hitting that trend line, but at higher and higher prices. So you're technically putting in higher highs. It's just that the trend line is still blocking you. But once you get past that trend line, it's really, the gloves are off, right? You're about to start ripping through, and all the shorts that were kind of, sitting above this area or they're defending the trend line, they're about to just get squeezed the F out. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. Again, in our community, we are still long. There is no shorting that I have done in several months. I have not been a big fan of shorting. If you've been watching my videos for the past, several weeks, several months, I've been warning y'all that this is probably the easiest money that you'll make in terms of buying the pullbacks and going long. Of course, I'm not going to tell you to buy or sell, but that's how I've been looking at the market. So kudos to you. Cheers to you if you are making some good gains in the market, buying the pullbacks and going long. So one of the reasons why I was kind of looking at the market a little bit more skeptically yesterday was because there was something like this head and shoulders pattern playing out. And then we were under this area right here. So if you look at this choppy block right here, you could see we were under that weekly open. Okay. So I was a little bit skeptical, but I wasn't bearish. Okay. Because I saw this head and shoulders, and more often than not, I often talk about head and shoulders patterns. If they fail, meaning they don't get that downside capture, right? So they do something like this, get that head in, right shoulder can't break through, it goes down and then boom, pops back up. See, these to me are incredibly bullish patterns. Why? Because you tried and tried and tried to break through this neckline. And what happened is all along this neckline right here, there was absorption going on. We just didn't know it. Honestly, I didn't know it either. I was over here in this area. I sold off my long position yesterday, but I just got back in, pretty much around the same price, a little bit higher than I got out, and then I just went long overnight. And as I wake up now, we're now breaching 19,200, pretty damn close to the all-time highs, which is around 20,000. Okay, so we are here, my friends, and I think we're probably going to be hitting all-time highs in maybe the next 24 hours. It's possible that we hit it today during market hours. Um, I don't know exactly, if that kind of accelerated movement is going to be good. I still have really loved the fact that Bitcoin has been consolidating, nicely. Like it goes up. Whoops, let me do this. So it goes up, good amount, consolidates for a couple days, goes up, consolidates, goes up, consolidates, or prints this kind of movement, consolidates, and then further goes up. So this is very, very healthy movement, and you want this as you get towards all-time highs. You don't want that noise. You don't want that clamor. You want slow, subtle movement. And then all at once you break past 20,000, then put in those, $1,000, $2,000 candles, several days in a row, and then just hammer it home all the way to, $26,000. Because those are some of my big targets. If you watch my video from a couple days ago, okay, those are some of my big targets that I have. Possibly around 24, 26,000 if we are able to break past it. So if we're just looking at pivots right here, simple pivots on the weekly basis. So these are weekly pivots. The R1 right here is around 19,675. R2 is around 20,875, and the R3 is around 22,775. So you could play those pivots, but I'm kind of focusing on the daily pivots right here. And the daily pivots actually give a very unique story. So the R4 is right around 21,300, and the R5 right here is right there around 24,000. Okay, that's kind of what I'm looking at as we're getting into the end of the month. It's November 24th, right? November has what, 6 more days left? 6 more days. I think that's attainable, heading towards this R5. All right. So, just pay attention. Again, not the biggest fan of shorting. I've warned my community over and over again. Uh, by the way, make sure y'all hit the thumbs up. Again, I've been requesting those who are watching these videos for free. I would really appreciate if you guys hit the thumbs up because it helps, give appreciation for my hard work, my content. You guys know very well, I make these pieces of content for my Advantage members every single morning. Okay, between 5 and 6 a.m., they get a fresh batch of analysis every single morning. And then in the evening time too. I'm in the US time zones. So right after markets close in the US, around 3 or 4 p.m. my time, I give them an analysis maybe a couple hours after. And so every single day you get 2 fresh batches of analysis, all right, for my Advantage members. So if you're watching this for free, the least you can do is drop a thumbs up, leave me a comment of your thoughts, or join our free Discord. And the link is actually below, right, in the YouTube description. Okay, so at least hit the thumbs up. All right, so let's keep moving on. So I've drawn a couple of these trend lines, right? These kind of represent channels, if you will, channels within channels. So I think we have a mini channel down here, which is a little bit more extended to the downside. I think this area down here, once price comes down here, it's a little bit in the dangerous territory, but nothing scary as such. Okay. Now this upper channel, I think that's where the things get really bullish. And I think the upper channel is where we want to stay in. So as you could see, we're trying to breach into that upper channel with this movement that we're seeing, the trend line rejections. I think once we bust up right through the upper channel, okay, get inside this area, we should be looking at the top trend line right here. And I'll show you guys where exactly that comes from too. So first touch is right here around November 8th. Second is November 9th. Third touch is right there around November 17th. So let's just say if we drag this trend line out a little bit further, if we went straight up today, okay, literally straight up today, in the next several hours, I would say around, 1 p.m. or so, we could be expecting a price of $20,700. Now, of course, generally Bitcoin doesn't just go straight up, right? So we'll probably go like this, maybe like that, like that. Let's just say, whoops, let's just say, somewhere in the next couple of days we get there. So November 26th, maybe, somewhere during the day-ish, that could be hitting the top trend line somewhere around 21,000 flat or 22,000 or 21,000 to about $21,300 or so. Okay. That's if we follow that path of not just, going straight up parabolic, but if we, went up the way I was talking about. Okay. So those are important targets to keep in mind. Now, the other thing that's really unique and important is Bitcoin dominance. Okay, we see that Bitcoin dominance was getting crushed because altcoins were just, going absolutely wild, right? Link started to go parabolic. Ethereum definitely went, straight up yesterday. What was it? XRP actually, I think, went really high, but then of course, collapsed back down overnight. So again, this is kind of why I tell people like you want to avoid these movements, especially when dominance is this low. Like Bitcoin is going to come back and take its power. Okay, so it's best that when altcoins have gone up so aggressively, you at least want to start trimming. You want to be careful. You want to start getting out of some of your positions. And that's actually, exactly what we did in the Advantage side. So if you want to know exactly how we go about trimming our positions, one me long, short, take profit, move stops, etc., these are all details that we provide in the Advantage side. Okay. Let me see. So XRP, I think, obviously it got crushed. I'm kind of expecting BTC to take a grip of, the dominance once again for the next couple days, but I'm not really expecting altcoins to just like dump. They might pull back. XRP I think was just a pretty massive upside movement, maybe a liquidity capture up here. But I think it's possible that maybe XRP gets back up towards this area or at least close to it. ETH, I want to let y'all know that I actually took profit right around anywhere between 600 to 610 yesterday, because this marker right here was something that I had been paying attention to for the last several months. Okay, and my community knows this. So we pretty much got out right at the top of ETH, and like I said, re-entered back long into Bitcoin pretty much yesterday evening. So that's kind of one of the reasons why in our community, when we do analysis, there's good sound reasoning of sort of balancing our bets, if you will, between the things that we're kind of looking at in the market. Okay, so I think be careful in terms of altcoins. Bitcoin, I think, probably is going to gain some decent amount of strength, going back up. So, obviously, keep an eye on that as well. So on the 15-minute time frame, we're trying to break through this R2 level. I think if we break through this, should be heading towards the R3. But the way pivots work is very simple, right? You want to break up through the pivot, hold it as support. And if you hold it as support, you just aim for the next one. If you break up through this one again, hold it as support, you go to the next one. It's very simple like that. Okay. And then of course you can do a little bit of confluence of how this pivot matches up with the hourly or the daily pivot, if it does at all. And that gives you more confluence if prices to remain around this area, why it's bullish, why it's bearish, how many levels of support on different timeframes or levels of resistance you may have. So different ways of looking at the market. Okay. So yeah, Bitcoin dominance is climbing. I think the ES has done a relatively good job overnight too, kind of just chopping around this area. So I think all things are kind of looking good for BTC. I'm not particularly worried. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, folks. If y'all want more of an analysis, more in-depth, real-time conversations, come to our community. See, this is all our community right here. This is a Bitcoin chat. We have the traditional altcoin chat channel where we discuss a ton of different altcoins. And then the DeFi chat where we discuss a ton of different, DeFi coins. All right. That's it. Hit the thumbs up, folks. Thank you so much. And I'll catch up with y'all soon. Cheers.